security protocols for today's meeting.
All right, good afternoon, President Landman Gonzalez, Mayor Dyer, Commissioner Clint. With OUC's commitment to making safety first, we began with each commission meeting with a safety briefing in the event that we have an emergency. We are located at 100 West Anderson Street in the commission chambers on the 7th floor. We have 3 emergency exits located at the doorways, front, center, and rear. If we need to evacuate the building, we will exit the nearest door and proceed to the stairwell to the left or right of the commission room at the end of the hall. Our meeting place will be on the surface parking lot under 408. AEDs and first aid kits are in the sound closet. I'll grab those AEDs and first aid kits. Fire extinguishers are outside the front hallway doorways. Rick will call 911 if needed, and Carlos will provide CPR. The security team will assist with directing emergency responders to the building up to the 7th floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Amber Salcedo, is Amber here somewhere?
She is.
Okay, will you please provide the moment of reflection, please? There you are. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor Dyer, and Clint. As we open today's meeting, I find myself reflecting on our responsibility to the future. Not just the infrastructure that we maintain today, but the community and employees that will inherit the results of our decisions and actions for decades from now. In an industry and reputation that is built on reliability, it is natural to lean towards what is familiar, safe, and comfortable. But real stewardship requires us to look beyond comfort. I've always said that the worst response that we can give towards a challenge or question is it's how we've always done it. And it's a response I refuse to accept. I refuse to accept it because true resilience demands that we challenge our assumptions. It requires us I refuse to accept it because true resilience demands that we challenge our assumptions. It requires us to reflect on both experience and wisdom of the past while having the courage to innovate, adapt, and build for a changing world. As we begin today's meeting, let us agree to hold ourselves to that standard, making decisions that are guided not by habit, comfort, or fear of the unknown and unfamiliar, but by foresight, open-mindedness, and commitment to continuously improve, leaving both an organization and system that sets us up for success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's perfect messaging for our EIRP season.
Yes.
I would now like to invite Ruth Velasquez to come forward and lead the Pledge of Allegiance. As you're coming up, Ms. Velasquez served in the U.S. Navy for 6 years, achieving the rank of E4. Ms. Velasquez has now worked at OUC for 9 years, and her current title is Administrative Assistant 3. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for your service, too. All right, the time is now 2:05 minus 3 minutes. Sorry, I think I want to get that right. And I call the August 11th, 2026 Commission meeting to order. President Landman Gonzalez is not in attendance today, thus I will preside over the meeting. I'd like to acknowledge that we have a quorum present here this afternoon. The next item on the agenda is a consideration of the July 7th budget and pricing workshop minutes. I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of the budget and pricing workshop minutes and adopt them as published.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion at all? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion passes. Thank you all. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the July 7th, 2026 Commission meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of the Commission meeting minutes and adopt them as published. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you both. Is there any discussion? No further discussion. We'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Motion passes. Thank you guys very much. All right, let's move right along. We have no service awards this month, so we'll proceed with the employee and community recognitions. Ms. Ferroni, would you like to present the employee community recognition?
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor Clint. I am beyond thrilled to share with you that yet again this year, OUC has ranked as the #1 most trusted brand electric utility in the nation. This, yeah. Woo. That deserves that. This recognition comes from the 2026 Escalent Cogent Syndicated Utility Trusted Brand and Customer Engagement Residential Study. It's a mouthful. Each year, Escalent surveys residential customers of the 100 largest electric utilities across the U.S., evaluating brand trust, reputation, overall customer engagement, placing OUC at the top for a third year. So, in this study, OUC achieved our highest score ever, a score of 771, an 11-point increase over 2025. Over the last 10 years, OUC has been recognized as a most trusted brand 9 times, and this is the 3rd time that we've ranked first nationally. So this slide gives a visual comparison of the trust scores across major electric utilities nationwide. And what you'll notice is how OUC stands out. Of course, we're all the way over there at the right. And as you look, we're recognized as the most trusted brand. The green bars represent the utilities nationwide that earned the most trusted brand recognition, again, as we've done 9 times before. You also notice those in red, those are our Florida peer utilities. So overall, this visual makes it very clear, OUC isn't just performing well, we're outperforming every other utility on the chart and leading the industry in customer trust. So let's take a look at how we did that. These are the categories, the indices of excellence that Escalent uses. So I want to highlight that OUC saw growth in every category measured, which is a great sign of consistent organization-wide improvement. So in community support, customers recognize OUC's care for the local community and its role in supporting economic development. In environmental dedication, OUC continues to stand out with commitments to clean energy, environmental causes, and green initiatives that support long-term sustainability. Under reliability quality, customers saw stronger performance in how we assist those facing issues and our dedication to safety across the organization and the community. Our company reputation strengthened through support for causes customers value, increasing positive feedback and a noticeable stronger reputation in our service area. For customer focus, customers highlighted ethical interactions, responsiveness to concerns, and a clear commitment to putting people first. And in communication effectiveness, OUC improved in delivering relevant, accurate, and easy to understand information while maintaining consistency and credibility. This year's study makes one thing unmistakably clear. OUC continues to lead the nation in brand trust. We not only grew in every category, we excelled in the areas that matter most to our customers. Community support, to reliability, to environmental dedication, reputation, customer focus, and communications. This top ranking reflects the work of every single employee across our organization and reaffirms our commitment to serving with integrity, innovation, and care. Congratulations to our employees for their continued dedication to delivering the reliable, responsible service that keeps OUC at the top. Thank you.
Thank you. Terrific. Just terrific news again. Any comments, questions, anything from here?
Just raise the bar.
Yeah, again, can't wait to talk to the other utilities again. I try not to rub it in too badly. All right, let's head for the affirmative items. Mr. Bullock, before we continue the affirmative items, do we have anyone from the public who wishes to speak today on the affirmative items?
Not on the affirmative items, no, ma'am.
Okay, very good. All right, so do you have any comments or presentations regarding the affirmative items?
I do. Thank you, Commissioner Gross. I do have a couple items I'd like to share with the board today. I'm going to ask Lemoyne Adams to come up to the podium, and he's going to have a bundle of agenda items, a little bit unique, but it's A8 through A14. But the common link here is infrastructure expansion on the electric side, underground circuit additions on most of them, but it just shows you some of the growth and some of the expansion that continues to occur in our region and in our utility. And I thought because of the number that he had this month, it was worthy of Lemoyne coming up and just sharing a little bit about each of those different projects for you here today. So with that, Lemoyne, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Clint. Commissioner Gross, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, thanks for that introduction, Clint. And next slide, please. So to Clint's point, I am going to share with you 7 projects today. And Clint made the point, individually, when you look at these projects, there's really nothing terribly unique about them. But collectively, the fact that all of these circuit extension or circuit addition projects have more or less converged on the commission today is what's unique. Typically, they trickle in throughout the year, but for whatever reason, the stars aligned. I'm not sure, but they all came to the board today for approval. So when I think about it, when you look at the agenda item package, I think only one of EWD's projects is not growth related. So as we progress through the slides, I'll talk about these projects individually. Another element to these projects that is unique is that they're all underground. We do have circuit extensions and additions that are feeder extensions that are overhead, but it just so happens that all of these are underground. So I wanted to take a moment just to illustrate that process. So on the right-hand side, you see the manhole cover, which is what you see when you're driving down the road. On the middle slide, you see the line technician pulling in the 3 cable phases down the chute into the manhole. He's pulling it down into a manhole cover, which is about 5 feet typically in depth. That's why you need the ladder there to access and exit the manhole. And then also the yellow tube is fresh air that's being blown down into the manhole. In the manhole, there are hazardous gases. There's also someone down in the manhole that has a gas detector to ensure that the air quality is appropriate. On the left, you see a cutaway view of the manhole. Now, this is in our training yard, so the actual manhole doesn't have the side exposed like that, obviously. But you can see where they pull the cable in to the manhole. The bottom cable is the larger cable, the feeder cable, 1,000 aluminum 750. We typically keep that on the bottom of the manhole. Then above that, we have our smaller cable, the distribution loops, 2-out aluminum, 1-out, etc. And then in the middle, you can see, if I can learn how to operate this. Here we go. Okay, so cable being pulled in and out. In the middle here, you see the splices on the wall. So that's where the line technicians have to splice the 2 pieces, the 2 ends of cable together to create the electrical connectivity. So on the next slides, you'll see one-line circuit diagrams. I wanted to illustrate what happens in the field because when we get to the one-line circuit diagrams, it looks really simple just looking at a sheet of paper, right?
Well, Lemoyne, before you advance, let me just,
right.
this is a good opportunity. Why don't you expand a little bit? You see that manhole on the left. And so I think generally speaking, we understand the inherent benefit of underground, right? We don't have as much exposure to the car hit pole or the tree coming down. But when we have to have when there is an underground issue, just talk a little bit about the rainy season, and it does take a little bit longer to repair, although again, risk and exposure is reduced with underground. But when there is an underground fault, talk a little bit about what happens to that manhole, what you have to do in a rainy season, and some of that.
Yeah, so to Clint's point, as you can imagine, there's a high water table here in Florida. So all of our manholes are full of water. So depending on where the manhole is, it could be at the low point. So when you have to access a manhole and the fault is in that manhole, when you're dewatering the manhole, you're essentially dewatering the entire run, right? From if it's at the low point. So that causes or extends the outage typically. And then if it's a splice failure, which is typically what we see, for us to remake that splice, it could be 3 to 4 hours. So overhead is a lot quicker to restore, but again, the underground is more reliable. So where I was going was that once we progress to the one-line circuit diagrams, it looks simple on a sheet of paper, but in the field, when the crews are actually working, they have to take into consideration material setup, crew setup, safety consideration, hazard recognition, hazard mitigation, MOT, working with the developer in coordination, pulling cables, splicing. So there's a lot to be considered when working underground projects. A lot of work, a lot of skill required to execute those. So next slide. So the first project here that I want to highlight is a circuit addition for West Court. I have known this project as the Sports and Entertainment District for forever. I didn't even realize it changed names until it was brought to my attention for review. But this is a mixed-use development project adjacent to the Kia Center, 270 residential units, hotels, office space, retail, conference space, 1,150 parking garage spaces. In addition to that, fun fact, a little fun fact here. This site is, or was previously the site of the Orlando Police Department, which was relocated to the southeast corner of South OBT and South Street. Next slide. So this is the example of the one-line diagram that I was referring to. As you can see from the map, this new circuit extends from America Street. There we go, from America Street substation north and into the West Court project. It's 1.1 miles of new circuit addition, 12 megawatts of load, and has 16 manholes where the crew, as I explained before, have to worry about MOTs, ingress, egress, pulling cable, splicing, coordinating with developers, etc. So quite a bit of work involved in terms of complexity for these type of jobs, being efficient, being productive in the field while accounting for all of the safety elements that go along with working in the field. This project, just to give you some perspective, will take about 5 weeks to construct. And again, the energy load is 12 megawatts with an opening date of 2028. This circuit addition project will support the yard at Brookhaven. The yard at Brookhaven is across the street from an existing project that you all may know that's out there called the yard at Ivanhoe. I think it's developed by the same developer. 7-story mixed-use project development, residential units, 3,600 square foot restaurant and bar. It also includes a pool deck, outdoor dining, and a 500 space covered parking garage. Expected load is 1.2 megawatts for 1.1 miles of new circuit. You can see from the map that it extends from our Weber substation north to East Princeton Place. The on-site work was approved for this project by the board in April of 2025. The agenda item consisted of two overhead to underground projects on this site. The first overhead to underground project was because the building was too close to the overhead primary, so we had to convert the overhead to underground. The second overhead to underground project on this site was purely aesthetics. The customer didn't want to see the overhead lines there. And for both of those projects, they paid the appropriate SEAC as well. In addition, on the agenda item that came to the board in April of 2025, we installed all of the on-site equipment. So the transformers, the cable, switchgear have all been installed on the site. So you may notice, however, that this overhead circuit, well, you would think I would know how to work this. Anyway, this overhead circuit does not extend over into the actual project site, and that's not by mistake. The existing circuit that currently feeds the location is reaching its maximum capacity. So this new circuit is going to help diversify the load between the two circuits. It's also going to provide reliability and contingency for the Advent Health Hospital, which is further north along Princeton, and it'll support future growth projects in the area. Okay, this circuit extension will support two commercial properties in the Sunbridge Business Park. One is for the TJ Maxx new distribution facility. 7 megawatts of load, 1.9 square foot warehouse space. And the second project this will support is the Venture One real estate warehouse for logistics companies. The TJ Maxx distribution center will be a primary meter customer, which means that the customer owns all of the transformers and equipment behind the primary meter. And then the Venture One project will be a standard secondary customer where OUC owns the transformers, equipment, etc. So the combination of load between these two projects is 11 megawatts, 2.5 miles of a circuit extension. And you can see there, the black line represents the existing circuit as it moves south from our Stanton substation, south of the 528B line. And we tie into that circuit with our new circuit extension and then head north to the Sunbridge Business Park. Construction start is this year, 2026, with anticipated opening date of 2028. Now, you all may have seen this project in the news. I think it's been out there for the past month or so, but this circuit extension supports the Grand Concourse expansion for the Orange County Convention Center. It's a 144,000 square foot expansion you see there on the left of the north-south concourse. 100,000 square foot ballroom. There's also an additional phase 2 plan for the east side of the expansion here at the Grand Concourse. That phase 2 will be 200,000 square feet in addition to what's there now on the east side of the north-south concourse. Expected load here is 5 megawatts, 3.6 miles of circuit extension with an anticipated opening date of 2029. The circuit extension associated with this project serves multiple purposes. The first, like I spoke about earlier, for the Grand Concourse expansion. The second, for the phase 2, the future Grand Concourse expansion. And third, we did reconfigure the circuit and remove hard taps and replace those with switchgear to improve the reliability in the area. And then the convention center also wanted additional redundancy over and beyond our standard design of two 2500 kVA transformers. So they actually paid 100% for two additional 2500 kVA transformers to back up the primary two. So that increased their SEAC payments in the amount of about $238,000. So if you happen to have reviewed the packet and saw that the SEAC is a little more elevated, then that's the reason why. So now we're transitioning to our St. Cloud service territory. Our next two projects are within the East Lake Toho Master Plan, which is west of Kissimmee Park Road and south of 192. So this is a closer view of the East Lake Toho Master Plan. You can see the northern portion of the master plan is in KUA's territory. The southern part of the master plan is in Duke's territory. And that middle portion is all OUC St. Cloud territory. On the eastern side, what we call now the East Edgewater Development, which is highlighted in red, projected 30 megawatts upon completion. And then the west portion, we call Edgewater West now, is projected to be around 50 megawatts when complete. Again, both of these middle sections, the Edgewater Development is within OUC St. Cloud service territory. And the eastern section that's highlighted in red is where the majority of the activity is taking place now. So we've essentially zoomed in now to that 30 megawatt red section that I highlighted in the prior slide, Edgewater East area. And you can see all the activity that's taking place there, projects that are currently in design, projects that have been completed, and projects that have been or are currently under construction. Development out there is really going through a transformation. When I started at OUC and would go down to St. Cloud, I can tell you that I remember vividly there was nothing but dirt roads and cows for as far as the eye could see down there. And so now again, 5,200 homes coming, 1,400 acre community. This started in 2021. And it's going to also house apartments, townhomes, 1 million square feet of commercial space, as well as feature Central Florida's first man-made swimming lagoon. So it's going to be quite impressive. So again, zooming in a little bit tighter, you can see both of our agenda item projects there. The Edgewater extension, which will be the Edgewater West development, going through 10 manholes and 2 switchgear sites. And then you can see the circuit as it extends from St. Cloud South substation north and then west, and then going south down to the subdivision. We're extending that circuit south to the Cross Prairie subdivision phase 6 3B, which will house 107 homes. And lastly, still in our St. Cloud service territory, you can see we have an existing circuit extending from our St. Cloud North substation north and then east along Cereals to support the Sunbridge Neighborhood E Phase 1 project, which will be 156 single-family homes, anticipated opening of 2027. So those were the new circuit additions and extension projects. The planning department, planning engineers under Orlando Allen Castro are evaluating future circuit extensions to support transportation electrification projects. I'm sure all of us by now have seen the Waymo vehicles around town. I didn't know what to expect when I first saw it, and I did, and was a little bit antsy there for a little while, driving around with no human being next to me. But so there are 4 potential sites being evaluated now, along with multiple prospective sites under review for Tesla charging stations. In addition, circuit extensions may be forthcoming to support the Sunbridge Business Park and the surrounding neighborhoods. So I know that was a lot of information. Thank you for your time and consideration and allowing me to visually show the projects to you and go into a little bit of detail. Obviously, there is a lot of growth taking place right now in our service area, both in the residential and commercial sector. It's keeping everybody in the organization on their toes and busy in terms of providing a quality customer service from end to end for our community. So we appreciate all the hard work that's happening across the organization. So we are asking for approval of the Westcourt project, the Yard at Brookhaven 2, Sunbridge Business Park, Orange County Convention Center, Grand Concourse Expansion, Edgewater West Roadway Phase 1, Cross Prairie Subdivision, Edgewater Development 6, Phase 3B, and the Sunbridge Subdivision Neighborhood E Phase 1 in the amounts that are shown. Any questions?
I have questions, probably for you.
Oh,
These are all.
I'd rather you ask him, but
Well, maybe I'll ask Chris. It's a budget issue because these are all in the budget that's yet to be approved.
so these are in the budget that for the capital plan that was part of last year's 5-year capital plan. And so, yes, you're approving a new 5-year capital plan, but these are items that were a part of last year's, this year's, and so it is in the budget. I don't know if, Chris, you want to add any more to that, but does that? Correct.
Anything else?
Oh.
It's great. Anything else? You okay?
This question, that was a good question. And I was confused about that too, because as you read through it, a number of these were approved in 2025 and 2026. So I was going to ask the same question. So exactly what are we approving if some of these were already approved?
So let me, I'll back up for maybe just a second. So we are currently within the fiscal year 26. We currently have a capital plan and budget that the commissioners approved. Because we do a 5-year capital plan, these items are in that budget. And so you are approving these capital projects because they're over $500,000 based on the purchasing policy. And so that is why they're written up as agenda item. Again, we presented them just because there was a combination of infrastructure items, but it's consistent with our process of approval based on the purchasing policy. These items are in the budget. and in the new budget, if you will, but they were currently in last year's budget that you approved because it's a 5-year capital plan. Does that? I feel like at this point I might need Chris to connect any other dots that maybe I'm not connecting well.
Just a point of clarification on today's agenda related to the capital plan. We're asking you to accept the capital plan, but we bring individual capital projects to you throughout the year for actual approval. So you, in the past, this board has accepted the 26 through 2030 capital plan, but any capital project that exceeds $500,000 comes to you for individual approval. So all of these exceed $500,000.
That's why
they're coming to you for your approval as a capital project, but then also the related purchase orders that might be needed to actually get the vendors involved to do the work.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for the overview.
You want to move approval of these
Lemoyne.
items? Is that the request? You will
No.
leave it as affirmative?
Leave it as they are. And then I have one more I'd like to highlight for the board. So I'm going to ask Tom and Rick to come up. I'd like to highlight agenda item 829. Tom represents our new products group, and Rick is on EV operations. So this is a pilot project, one that we're very excited about. We continue to work towards advancing and addressing barriers related to EV charging. We think this is another one that helps the community, some of our customers, or several use cases they'll talk about. But I think this fits in line with continuing to advance the EV charging within our community and addressing the barriers. So I'm going to let these two gentlemen give you a bit of an overview and then see if you have any questions. Tom, Rick?
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor Dyer, Clint. We're here to provide a brief update today around the ongoing work related to electric vehicle adoption. While we faced some headwinds recently, we're pleased to report that early efforts to lean into the transportation transformation continue to position OUC to see an outsized benefit as the transformation continues forward. Today, we'll provide you with an update on how EV adoption has changed since federal incentives have been removed, offer some insight on how energy loads related to EVs impact OUC, and highlight some changes we're seeing in fleet adoption. Finally, we're here to request your approval to purchase a mobile fast charging unit that we believe will augment our ability to grow EV adoption. For more than 15 years, OUC has been focused on encouraging the adoption of electric vehicles. With the installation of OUC's first charging stations in 2010 and the subsequent installation of 135 charging stations that same year, OUC has worked to make sure that customers could confidently purchase an EV and know that the charging infrastructure is available for their use within our territory. OUC's Connected 2025 strategy, established in 2020, included a 5-pillar approach to addressing transportation transformation, developing tactics around policy, education, adoption, rates, and infrastructure that encourage EV adoption. Our goals included seeing 40,000 registered EVs by 2025 and a commitment to investing $45 million over a 10-year period to encourage customers to transition from internal combustion engines to electric powertrains. In the July 2026 vehicle registration data we received from the state of Florida, registered EVs in the OUC territory exceeded 40,000 vehicles, with more than 70,000 vehicles now in Orange County and 10,000 EVs registered in Osceola County. For the first time since we've been tracking the registration data, quarterly EV adoption in Osceola County exceeded Orange County. Orange County still leads the state in EVs per capita, and we passed Broward County this year in the absolute number of EVs registered, making Orange County second only to Miami-Dade in the total number of registered EVs. Our tactics have adapted over time, but the results are clear. EVs are transforming both the transportation and utilities industries, and OUC remains at the forefront of that change. The removal of the federal EV purchase tax incentive has had an impact on EV sales. Prior to the deadline, we witnessed a sales pull ahead that impacted the following quarter's adoption statistics. while the curve is flattened a bit, the slope of the curve continues upward, albeit not at the previous rate. OUC did reduce its most recent forecast for EV adoption and associated load growth. We are on pace to achieve that forecast. When compared to our 2020 forecast, however, EV adoption has significantly outpaced our best estimates. Public charging sales are up 16% over 2025, and sales will likely exceed 13,000 megawatt hours for separately metered charging station inside OUC's territory. OUC holds approximately 22% market share today as customers utilize our network of high-speed and level 2 charging infrastructure. Since early 2024, OUC has also seen growth in EV fleets. Led initially by rental car companies, there has been a steady increase in fleet adoption of both smaller local and large national firms. OUC anticipates sales of approximately 5,000 megawatt hours in fiscal year 2026, a 40% increase over consumption in 2025. Central Florida's EV growth has not gone unnoticed. Third-party charging hub operators have recognized the number of EVs in the greater Orlando area and are seeking to build out public charging stations to capture that business. Currently, there are 44 sites in OUC's territory that have been identified by these parties as potential locations for more charging infrastructure. If they were to be fully built out, they represent an additional 464 high-speed charging ports brought to market in OUC territory. OUC strategy has been to build out charging hubs, as many as 8, to meet the needs of customers driving EVs. Our intention is to meet the market gap until the market recognizes and responds to the demonstrated need. We're choosing to place that tactic on hold for now, as we wait to see where the market builds new hubs. We would return to the Commission to request to construct new hubs only in locations where the market has chosen not to serve, but where data shows that both adoption and need exist. In conjunction with the interest in public charging, OUC is seeing requests for new electric service to support construction of private fleets. There are presently 20 requests for new service that represent an addition of 638 additional DC fast charging ports. The influx of autonomous ride-hailing services into Orlando and the increased EV adoption of fleet vehicles as more fit-for-purpose options are available to fleet managers is the key driver here. I'll ask Rick to present today's discussion of our proposal.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor Dyer, and Clint. My name is Rick Taylor, and I'm the Director of Energy Services and Contracts Management. And thank you for the opportunity to give an update on the EV program, as well as over the next few slides, how we give a summary of some of the use cases for the proposed mobile DC fast charging unit. First, I'd like to focus on the fleet charging program. One challenge that we see is a mismatch between the availability of electric vehicles and the availability of charging infrastructure. Without access to charging infrastructure, it is difficult for customers considering fleet adoption to evaluate potential savings resulting from making transitions from internal combustion engines to EV vehicles. National fleet operators are building charging infrastructure on their sites, but for our smaller fleet operators, they see the charging infrastructure as a barrier to making the electric vehicle transition. To make managing a pilot easier for our customers who want to explore a fleet transition, we are proposing to purchase a 4-port DC fast charging trailer that includes onboard energy storage. This unit is semi-permanently installed at a customer site, allowing them to pilot both the uses of EVs and the benefits of high-speed charging infrastructure together. The customer would contract with OUC for the installation and rental of the unit. If installed behind the customer's meter, The energy consumed would be included on the existing monthly bill. If the unit were installed in front of the customer's meter, OUC's standard public charging rate for level 3 charging, currently at 40 cents per kilowatt hour, would apply, and we would use our existing transaction management network to process the payments. The unit offers OUC a chance to propose a mix of charging infrastructure that works best for the customer, potentially using level 2 charging for fleet and workplace charging programs when vehicles remain parked for several hours, or having the benefit of a high-speed charging access for those instances where time to recharge may be critical. We have chosen the Exos mobile charging unit, complete with 450 kilowatt DC fast charging ports and a 420 kilowatt onboard battery. The unit is flexible in how it can be deployed. It can be wired into a transformer with battery buffering peak load. It can also be used as a standalone unit where the battery can support up to 10 vehicle charging events between recharge cycles. The unit will be outfitted with a transaction management software, which is used to track and manage charging events. The software is also used to observe the health of the charging stations while permitting individual charging sessions like our other hubs do. As you can see in the picture, the unit can be transported by a pickup truck, allowing the unit to be deployed easily as needed. There are many other use cases beyond fleet transition that support the purchase of the mobile unit. One such use case permits OUC to place the mobile unit where we observe higher utilization at any one of OUC's 130 plus existing level 2 charging sites. The mobile unit can be connected directly into any level 2 charger. The existing charger would then be used to trickle charge the battery of the mobile unit. By bringing the unit to the site for a period of time, we can determine if the presence of a high-speed charger would increase the number of vehicles that would use the site over time. Our current practice is to investigate an area, look for evidence of EV density, and make a recommendation for a DC charger. Utilizing the mobile unit to help determine if the location would truly support a DC fast charger would allow us to better assess market opportunities before making a recommendation for investment for a permanent DC fast charger. There are other use cases that we've evaluated for this unit. OUC could deploy the unit to support emergency response and resilience needs. During an emergency evacuation order, the unit could be deployed to locations with a level 2 charger to provide the community with 4 additional high-speed charging ports. This is especially critical in communities where ready access to high-speed charging is not available today. The unit supports OUC's own fleet transition plan. It can be deployed along with crews, ensuring an electric service vehicle can recharge in the field when necessary, mitigating risks that a vehicle may become stranded during an extended deployment. The unit can augment equipment that's temporarily out of service at any one of our EV sites, or augment charging capabilities while additional infrastructure is under construction. We believe the acquisition of the mobile DC fast charging unit continues to demonstrate OUC's commitment to solving problems for customers while encouraging them to join the transportation transition. We are requesting commission approval of the purchase order to Exos Trucks to provide a mobile direct current fast charging trailer in the amount of $263,864. And thank you for your time and attention this afternoon, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Just one question. If you have a contract for deployment of the mobile unit into a site, in the middle of it, there's an emergency, are your contracts going to provide for the ability to take it out?
We've contemplated the idea that we can put a term in there that says in the event there's an emergency and we need to recover that unit for a period of time, we can remove it and replace it.
Good question. What's the time? And that was a good question. What's the timing on this? When's this going to be available? Do you know?
We are in discussions with the manufacturer now, assuming commission approval. We hope to have it here before the 1st of October.
So those 20 sites, private sites, they put in service requests with you guys, and you're helping understand the sites. I just can imagine exactly some of who those customers are, and I would imagine that solution might be pretty handy for the first weeks or months of operation. Have you begun to start talking to about this to customers?
Potentially, we've not had those conversations with customers yet. We've been actually surprised at the volume of calls we've been getting for service.
I'm going to tell you, you're going to want 6 of these pretty fast, because every customer I know struggles with this, 2-year interconnection time, 1 year, or they want 8 megawatts, but they really only have 2 trucks they have to get going. And so an interim solution would be great. So I think this is going to be kind of popular, to be honest. I think it's great.
I agree. It's a pilot, and we're going to learn from it. And
Yeah.
if things go well, to your point, Commissioner, we'll be back asking for some additional approval.
I think so. It's great.
Got to get the contracts right, as was mentioned.
Yep.
There's liability and coverage there, and insurance, and so we have to work those out. The team's working with our legal teams to make sure that the customer executes the appropriate contract. But it seems to be a good amount of demand out there, and we're just trying to help address it.
Yeah, I really appreciate the 4 things that are the sort of the objectives of this thing. The thing about the resilience and the emergency power, we bring in for events, right? Mutual aid, we bring in our diesel tankers and stick them somewhere on a lot at the hotel just to fill up at the Rosen, to fill up our trucks. And this needs a solution somewhere when we have more electric trucks. Somehow we're going to have to park these mobile chargers. So I think this is great. This is looking forward. That's great.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you both. All right. Clint,
No further. If there's any other questions by the board,
anything else?
affirmative items?
I'll ask one more time. Do we have anyone from the public that wants to address the affirmative items?
Do not.
All right. Any other
Move the
questions?
affirmative items.
Second.
Very good. We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? I'm assuming no. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passes. Thank you. All right. New business.
Yes. We do have 2 new items under new business seeking approval by the board. I would just quickly say that there's been no changes since the public workshop that you had a chance to review at the last meeting. And I would just say, again, I'm very proud of the team's work as we worked specifically on the electric side, no rate increases. I know in this environment, I think that's a tough feat. So I am very proud of that and bring that forward on the electric side. But we have all of them available for any questions, or if not, we'll be looking for some approvals. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So 2 items, 2027 operating budget and 2027 to 2031 capital plan, which we just talked about a little earlier. And then water rates, demand level implementation, miscellaneous fee changes. Are there any members of the public that want to talk about these new business items? Very good. All right, so we're gonna have to take these separately here. Before we vote on new business items, any comments or questions about the rates? We heard this all. Yep, please.
Nothing. I mean, you've explained the budget. I think the particularly the electric rate is contingent on some estimates on natural gas prices. And you've got the backstop of your reserves.
Correct.
It's the question, and you maybe have alluded to it in the past, is there a point in the future where you're gonna look at the reserve policy to address that? Because right now you're, if I remember correctly, over the established reserve level, or not the aspirational reserve level.
So at the next audit finance, that's one of the objectives we're going to discuss further with the commissioners as we talk about the reserves, fuel reserves certainly being one of them. I think one of the things, Commissioner, to your point, we tried to demonstrate how fast the swing can move. And so we tried to put some probabilities, we tried to put different market conditions to support what the policy has in place. But we will talk further about that. If things continue to perhaps hold where they are, I would anticipate we will request some action by the board, perhaps by the end of the calendar year. Gas prices have notched back up. It's going to be hot next week, but again, a bit volatile, which is why the stabilization fund is very beneficial, but we'll discuss further at the next audit finance committee.
But from a budgetary standpoint, once you tap into that reserve, that's going to have implications potentially for ratings as well as future. So that's, I mean, I think it's important to look
Correct.
at that policy and the levels that you're going to establish.
Correct. Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, any other discussion? If not, I'm going to go ask, do we have a motion to adopt the proposed, we have to do this in two, to approve the proposed fiscal year 2027 operating budget and accept the 2027 to 2031 capital plan?
You need them separately or?
I need them separately. So, well, no, those two together.
Okay,
That's together. Okay.
The operating budget and the capital plan are together.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll take a vote. Everyone in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Didn't hear anyone. Motion passes. The second one is the rate. So let me read this one. May I have a motion to adopt the proposed water rates effective October 1st, 2026, and system development charges effective January 1st, 2027, the proposed electric rates effective November 1st, 2026, pending Florida Public Service Commission review, and the proposed electric contribution in aid of construction fees and economic development tariffs effective January 1st, 2027, pending, again, Florida Public Service Commission review. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed? None. Motion passes. Thank you all. All right, I am now going to provide the Audit Finance Committee report. And this is a report from July 23rd, 2026. The meeting was held on the 23rd of July. The committee received a presentation from OUC's external auditor, Ernst & Young, regarding the results of the fiscal year 2025 pension and other post-employment benefits, which is called OPEB, financial audits. The auditors issued clean opinions and noted that the pension and OPEB trust funds are well funded. The committee also received a presentation from Ernst & Young regarding the plan for the upcoming fiscal year 2026 financial audit. Ernst & Young concluded with a presentation regarding the fiscal year 2025 uniform guidance audit related to OUC's management of federal grants. Ernst & Young found that there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in OUC's management of federal grants, and they issued a clean audit opinion. The committee received a presentation on recent internal audit activities, including a review of recently completed internal audit projects and the status of open audit items. The committee received a presentation on the proposed operational efficiency initiative, which is a key component of OUC's recently adopted Strategy 2035 strategic plan. The committee received a presentation on the proposed amendments to OUC's economic development tariffs, which were first presented during the July budget workshop. The committee received an update on the issuance of the Series 2026 bonds. Management reported that there was strong interest from investors and noted that all three rating agencies affirmed OUC's strong bond ratings. The committee received quarterly updates for the Energy Risk Management Oversight Committee, Treasury, Accounting, Fuel Stabilization Fund, and Grants Administration activities. The meeting concluded with a brief discussion regarding the Department of Energy order related to Stanton Unit 1. All right, with that, Mr. McCullen, will you please present the financial report?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Gross. Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor. Good afternoon, Clint. On your screen is a summary of the financials as of June, so fiscal year to date through June, October 1st through June 30th. And the summary here is that total operating revenues, total operating expenses are very much in line with budget at this point of the year. On the revenue side, as I mentioned before, this is net of $33.7 million of wholesale revenues, which we've been fortunate to see this year. We've deferred those for future use to offset potential future rate increases in the future in accordance with our regulatory action policy. So the net income before contributions, $7.9 million ahead of budget, so that's 9.3%. We are looking very good going into the last quarter of our fiscal year. The numbers as of the end of this past month in July are looking favorable. We have 2 more months left of the fiscal year. I'll report back in the next board meeting and look to finish this year off strong. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions, comments, anything?
Chris, you want to just say a couple words on the water revenue?
Sure. The team has looked pretty closely at the water revenues. You'll notice it's a little below budget this year, and that might seem strange considering we've had quite a drought this year. The short answer is that water sales are correlated with what we call the capped rainfall amount. Essentially, we look at the first half inch of rainfall as being correlated with water sales, but anything above half inch of rainfall on any particular day is not highly correlated. So if you have an inch or 2 inches or 3 inches of rain and a downpour, you're still watering your grass again 2 days later because it's dried out. So what we're really looking for is what's the correlation between half-inch rainfall. And when you look at the capped rainfall amount fiscal year to date, it's not as far off of normal rainfall amounts as what we're seeing in total rainfall amounts. So when we do the regression analysis, we believe that the real answer for why water revenues are below budget is largely driven by the pricing adjustments that we've made over the last couple of years on the higher block rates to encourage conservation on the water side. So primarily that's hitting irrigation customers and commercial customers that are using larger amounts of water. So as we increase the rates on those upper blocks, it's sending a pricing signal to conserve water. And we believe that that's the main reason for our under budget actual so far fiscal year to date. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's very manageable at this level, but it is an interesting trend considering how dry it had been up until at least this month. It's been quite wet in July. So when I come and present the July numbers to you, we'll see what's happened with those revenues next month.
But maybe conservation's working a little bit.
We think so.
Very nice. All right. Thank you very much for that update. Mr. Woody, do you have any legal issues to report?
I have no legal issues to report.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Bullock, do we have any members of the public that have requested to address the board today?
We do not.
All right, thank you. So we'll move forward with the general manager's comments. Over to you.
I do have 2 items I would like to share with the board here today. I'm going to ask Linda to come up. I think, again, very timely with the budget approval. Thank you for the budget approval. I think, again, very proud that we were able to hold the line on our electric rates. But I think that's an important piece that Lynn and I talked quite a bit about from a messaging standpoint. How do we work to get that word out there related to holding the lines is still pretty valuable in this inflationary environment. So Linda's going to give you a bit of an overview of the industry and some of the other elements driving cost pressures, but ultimately then bring that down to OUC. There's a comparison in here to share with you, and then just reinforce some of the programs that we have that we need to work with our customers. There are certainly some segment of our customers that are having a little bit of a hard time paying their bills. It's pretty hot outside, and so we thought we would just wrap this whole thing around affordability. It's pretty timely, but again, based on your approval today, I know that Linda's team will go to work on at least informing some of our customers that we were holding the line. Rates are not going up, which is a good message, I think, in this environment. But with Linda, I'll turn it over to you to give us this update on affordability.
Absolutely. Thank you, Clint. Good afternoon again, commissioners, Mayor Dyer and Clint. I am here to talk about affordability. Very nice tee up, Clint. There's a lot of evolving challenges that our customers are facing for sure. And even though our rates remain consistent, competitive, and very affordable, many of our customers are still struggling to keep up with everyday expenses. So here's a bit of an agenda. I'm going to be covering the financial pressures that our household budgets are facing. I'm going to talk about and give you a sense of how OUC's rates compare to other Florida metros. We're going to look at some different ways to compare rates than we normally do. We're going to take a look at how our customers have used more energy this year due to extreme temperatures, both high and low. And this is resulting in higher bills, more calls for assistance, ultimately more disconnections due to non-payment. I'm going to walk through how we help our customers save and enhancements to our Efficiency Delivered program. And finally, I am going to share the OUC, some changes to the OUC CARES program that we're evaluating. So across the U.S., household budgets are under more strain than any time in our recent memory, for sure. And unlike the most recent financial crises, which were primarily a strain centered on housing costs, this pressure is concentrated on everyday spending. So groceries, transportation, basic goods. The examples shown here highlight that increasing pressure. So rising prices rank now as a concern for 52% of U.S. consumers. And while the country's facing near record low unemployment, the Federal Reserve is reporting tandem growth in 30-day and 90-day delinquencies. So in other words, people have jobs, yet they're still falling behind financially. That's kind of a new situation for us. So spending on groceries, for example, has slowed, with 80% of Americans saying they're trying to spend less. This article from CBS highlights how disruptions in global oil supplies have pushed gasoline prices up more than 28% than a year ago, increasing transportation and household expenses across the U.S. So because inflation is now outpacing wage growth for many workers, this means that households are seeing less real buying power despite nominal wage increases. So first, I'm going to give some good news before we get back to those challenges. So while many essential costs have increased dramatically, OUC's rates have not. Whoops, hit the wrong button. So this slide shows that OUC's consistently held price increases below inflation, reinforcing that affordability challenges customers face today, at least here in our service territory, are from the broader economy, not from OUC. So when we look at long-term price trends, OUC's consistently held electric price increases below inflation and well under the growth seen in other essential cost categories. I do want to point out, first, our OUC electric column in this chart, this is based on our average total retail revenue, both residential and commercial, on cents per kilowatt hour basis as reported to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. So that's our data source here. Just from a little bit of recent history, I do want to note that our relatively low percentage increase, that's due to the fact that OUC entered 2010 with a higher starting rate, because between 2000 and 2010, OUC implemented several rate increases. However, from 2010 through 2022, we gradually decreased rates, resulting in very limited growth over the last decade and a half. So on the water side, if you look at that column now, average prices have increased about 44% since 2010. I realize it's still the second lowest in the chart there, but that is intentional and partly due to encouraging water conservation. On the water side, this also reflects our long-term infrastructure investment and regulatory needs. So over that same period, water revenues have grown 68%, while actual water sales have only grown 17%. So showing that most of the increase comes from necessary system investment rather than consumption growth. So overall, though, the message here remains clear. OUC's prices, especially on the electric side, have grown far more slowly than inflation and much more slowly than other living costs. So now, yet another way to look at affordability. When we combined our electric and water bills and compare those across the state, OUC remains one of the most affordable utilities. So this table shown here, it represents the expected rates at the end of this calendar year. So it includes known changes such as base rate increases or some storm surcharge expirations at other utilities. So based on those expected year-end rates, OUC's customers' combined bills are projected to be lower than other major metros in the state, even with several utilities adjusting those prices. So despite that movement, OUC continues to hold electric rates steady and maintain a strong affordability position. This is very good news we should all be really proud of, because we have challenges. So we'll go back and talk about those now. Extreme heat does tend to be one of the strongest drivers of high bills. So during the summer months, the total amount billed to customers increases an average of 10 to 11%, driven largely by, you guessed it, increased air conditioning. Yeah. This leads to about 2,500 additional customer calls per month in the summer for the reasons that you can see here. So high temperatures also affect OUC's operations. For example, our energy and water conservation audit scheduling, one of those key tools that our customers rely on to understand and reduce their usage, they experience significant backlogs during high bill season. They move from an average of 14 days to 28 days to schedule those, so doubling the time customers must wait for that support. In parallel, requests for utility bill assistance through Project Care increases sharply during those periods. I'm going to come back to that. And OUC's extreme policy results in additional operational strain. We suspend disconnections, as you know. We suspend disconnections for non-payment whenever temperatures fall below 33 degrees or rise above 95 degrees. So in 2025, we recorded 7 of those hot day suspensions and 0 cold weather days. However, in 2026, we've already seen 13 hot days and we had 10 cold days for a total of 23 days where disconnections were suspended. So this highlights just how frequently temperatures now reach those critical thresholds and how many customers are vulnerable during those periods. All these factors combine into real affordability pressures for our customers. More of them need support at the same time their bills are rising. Assistance requests outpace available funding, and operational demands intensify across call centers, conservation audits, and collections. So this environment reinforces why our affordability programs and rate strategies must continue to evolve to meet the increasing needs brought by extreme weather and economic strain that's happening at the same time. So despite our affordability and assistance programs, disconnections for non-payment are rising, as I mentioned. In fact, they're up about 9% since 2023. This increase far outpaces our customer growth in our service territory. Disconnections are one of the clearest signals of financial distress. It's a trend that reflects household financial fragility, not really rate pressure. More customers are falling behind, they're staying behind longer, and they're requiring deeper assistance to recover. And of course, as always, OUC is focused on what we can do for our customers. A major part of this strategy is giving customers practical tools to teach them how they can reduce their consumption and lower their bills. So our Ways to Save page at ouc.com, we highlight numerous conservation programs and resources designed just for this, to help our customers take control and lower their usage. Customers can learn about the energy wheel that you see here on the left, which shows which appliances use the most energy in a typical home. It helps them identify big and small changes they can make to make a meaningful impact and lower their bill. They also have access to their personalized usage dashboard, which lets them see daily and hourly consumption trends, so they can see when and how their usage is spiking. It helps customers request a home energy and water audit, where an OUC conservation specialist walks through their homes and points out ways to reduce electric and water usage. And our Efficiency Delivered program, all the way on the right there, provides up to $2,500 in home improvements such as insulation, ductwork, or water efficiency upgrades, directly addressing high bills. Combined with our conservation rebates and education programs, these tools empower customers with meaningful solutions, and I'm going to talk about Efficiency Delivered in a little bit more detail. It is one of our most impactful programs for helping customers reduce their energy and water usage. The program encourages customers to make meaningful efficiency upgrades by combining OUC cost share support with convenient on-bill financing. This is especially helpful for low and moderate income customers who often face that upfront challenge of cost barriers that make home improvement investments difficult. So, participation has slowed over the last 2 years. This is not because interest has dropped, but is because several structural challenges. I do have to point out that we had a bit of a vendor gap at the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. And then when we renewed that contract in 2026, the labor and material costs had grown about 85% since the last time we had that contract put in place in 2020. So at the same time, inflation, which we've talked about earlier, has reduced household spending power, kind of a double whammy, making it harder for customers to invest in those home upgrades that would be so helpful to them right now. So research and benchmarking indicates that other utilities use a range of approaches. Many offer in the $3,000 to $5,000 range for similar types of programs, and most set their income eligibility at lower than or equal to 80% of HUD for the area median income. We also know the program delivers real measurable savings. So customers who completed Efficiency Delivered upgrades saw a savings of 9%, which is real money, we know that. These insights are shared today to both highlight opportunities and challenges. So, This slide shows that we're evaluating some changes to boost participation in that efficiency delivered program. These updates would align our program with those HUD income guidelines and reflect today's economic realities. So raising the tier threshold would allow more moderate income customers who are increasingly facing financial strain to qualify. It would increase the cost share up to $3,500 in upgrades and will support more meaningful improvements that can further reduce energy and water usage. And these investments would help our customers lower their bills while reducing OUC's long-term generation and finance and infrastructure costs. So we expect to complete our evaluation and implement these changes in early 2027. One other thing before we leave this topic, we recently did expand efficiency delivered to include landlords and renters, covering single-family homes through quadruplexes. So think small multifamily, not large corporate multifamily, but local small multifamily. This expansion makes meaningful efficiency upgrades available to about 19,000 renter households in our service territory. So next, we'll conduct targeted outreach so renters and landlords know about the new option, support by enhanced marketing, media relations efforts, and one-on-one consultation. And at the same time, of course, our customer service team will be trained to promote the program and guide customers through that eligibility and enrollment. So now I want to talk about OUC's financial assistance programs. OUC offers a variety of programs to help customers manage their bills, avoid disconnections, and improve long-time affordability. Budget billing allows customers to smooth out seasonal fluctuations by paying predictable monthly amounts, and then they settle any difference at the end of the year. Power Pass is a prepaid option that lets customers pay as they go, giving them real-time visibility into their usage and helping them avoid large monthly bills. Payment options through MyOUC and phone-based channels make it easier for customers to stay current and navigate everyday financial challenges. And Project Care is a one-time annual emergency assistance for customers facing kind of a temporary financial hardship. And I'm going to come back to that one. But together, these programs offer flexibility. They offer tools and help to our customers. They stabilize their accounts and help customers manage through difficult economic periods. So for Project Care, this has been one of our core customer assistance programs for more than 30 years. We're tremendously proud of it. It offers emergency relief to customers facing temporary financial hardship. So the program provides one-time annual assistance of up to $500 for eligible customers with a past due balance. Each application is reviewed by a trained Heart of Florida United Way caseworker that's dedicated to us to ensure assistance goes to those who meet the program criteria. Since its inception, the program has supported more than 30,000 households. Customers often seek support due to things like job loss, reduced work hours, or maybe unexpected medical expenses, issues that mirror broader economic pressures that are facing families today. As affordability challenges continue to grow, Project Care remains a crucial safety net for customers doing their best to stay current but needing temporary help during difficult periods. So requests for Project Care, not surprisingly, tend to occur during the same months that we see extreme temperatures, when higher energy use and financial strain make customers more vulnerable. So these periods reflect both increased usage and greater household hardship, aligning with the program's purpose of helping customers experiencing temporary financial difficulty. And importantly, the number of approved requests is constrained by available funding, not because it's constrained by customer need. So let me talk about that. So far this year, we've helped 355 households with an average of $277. However, our monthly budget of $16,000 requires strict limits on weekly approvals. So Heart of Florida United Way can only process a fixed number of applicants each Monday, about 20, with additional approvals depending on how much funding remains. As a result, many customers who would qualify simply get turned away because of limited capacity. So these trends show that while assistance is available, demand regularly exceeds the resources allocated to it. During COVID, we actually temporarily increased this funding, and customers did indeed qualify for it, and they did indeed use it, understanding that the need for flexible, responsible assistance programs is very real. So today's economic environment suggests that additional support may be needed again temporarily, and together these indicators point to a growing gap between customers' financial capacity and essential utility needs. So, in today's presentation, we showed that OUC works very hard to maintain affordable rates, especially when compared to our peers and broader inflation trends. This is more important today than ever and something we should be very proud of. At the same time, our customers are feeling a growing strain from rising everyday costs, higher summer usage, more frequent extreme weather, and growing inflation. These conditions are driving higher call volumes, more assistance requests, more increasing disconnections for non-payment. So OUC continues to support customers through the wide array of programs and tools that I just shared with you. These efforts help customers manage their bills, stay connected, and maintain stability during periods of higher usage or financial strain. We wanted to take this time to raise awareness that even with our affordable rates, many customers are struggling. Next steps for us will include completing our evaluation and implementing the efficiency delivered changes and communicating those to our vendors and customers. Additionally, we'll complete evaluation of project care budgets and determine how we can best serve our customers in today's economic environment. So thank you, Commissioners, for your ongoing support, and I'm happy to take any questions. Please.
Cost of gas, food, housing continues to rise. How did y'all determine the amount that will be set aside to assist those that are in need?
For project care specifically? Yes. So we do maintain a relatively consistent budget year over year. However, project care is also a fund that our employees donate to through our OUC Cares campaign every year. We donate to Heart of Florida United Way, the United Arts of Central Florida, and Project Care. Our customers can also donate to Project Care and do. So the amount fluctuates a little bit year to year because of those, and OUC has a 2-for-1 match for any of those donations that are made by our employees or our customers.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got a question. Some of these issues get really complicated. And a few years ago, I remember that OUC was working really carefully with the mayor's office because this can deal with building codes and landlords and just a lot of stuff. And I know you were trying to tackle the issue. Is there still an ongoing effort to see what else, I don't know, attack it from multi-pronged efforts to get at some of this stuff? There's still stuff going on. I don't know. I haven't heard about anything really lately, but it's just me out of touch.
I mean, I can say that we continue to talk with the mayor's office and their sustainability office about building codes and things like that. I know that's really complicated for the city, so I can't speak on their behalf. But there is certainly an understanding that building codes would certainly make a difference with having a little more incentive to take advantage of their programs.
All right, good. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Any other questions, dialogue?
That's great.
Very good. Thank you. Back to you.
Yes, one other item. Commissioners, certainly you may be aware over the last couple of weeks, federal authorities have issued escalating warnings about malicious cyber attacks targeting water and wastewater plants here in the U.S. That's primarily driven by the FBI and EPA. I'm here to report as of this hour. There's no verified evidence that any Florida water utilities, including OUC, have been directly impacted. But the initial confirmation was about 7 states were impacted. There's been some reports that there's some additional states that also have been impacted. Minnesota appears to be the most impacted state with over 30 utilities that have been impacted by some malicious bad actors. So we continue to be vigilant, with our operations. Our IT and OT and cybersecurity teams continue to review activity on an hourly by minute basis, 24/7, as people attempt to attack OUC. Through our IT teams, we've done enterprise communications out to our employees as a reminder. The employees are the best first line of defense. As again, these bad actors try to get in, perhaps through your employee base. And so I just want to make you aware of that. We continue to monitor that. We're working with our consultants. We're being more vigilant internally, and we'll continue to monitor where this goes. Certainly, our world is going through a lot of geopolitical challenges, and this is a part of it, and we just need to continue to be prepared and vigilant. This seems to be not about money. This seems to be more about distraction, right? You can be a cyber bad actor and you can just distract the utility, create havoc, run certain pieces of equipment to just create havoc with them. Others are obviously there for ransom and looking for dollars from a financial standpoint. So there's certainly a couple different theories about where this is coming from. Iran specifically, or proxy to Iran. And so certainly the FBI and EPA are working towards that, monitoring that continuously, but we'll continue to work through it, monitor it, continue to be diligent and prudent. But certainly just wanted to brief the board on that as our U.S. continues to go through these items. With that, that's all I had here for the board, unless there's any questions for me.
Thank you. Any questions, or just let's turn it to comments?
Turn to comments.
Please, Commissioner.
Congratulations, being voted #1, I believe for the third time in a row, most trusted electric utility company. Great job. Congratulations to you and the entire team. As always, job well done. Thank you. And I'd like to talk to you later in reference to the CARES program. I would like to know, I love the fact that the employees are contributing to that. I would like to know more about that program and how that works. I think that's a great idea, great PR for OUC, the fact that your employees are giving back to those that are in need. You should win an award for that also. So job well done on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner?
I echo the comments on congratulations for your selection as most trusted. I'm interested also in Project CARES. I look forward to the changes that you're looking at, but I'd like to learn more about how contributions can be made. And not an OUC matter, but a belated happy birthday to the mayor.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Same-o on the most trusted. There's not a whole lot of trust out there right now in general, so being at the top of the list is a pretty good thing. I did note at the other end there were some utilities that were way down there, so I'd be interested in knowing which ones those are, but at least they're not any in Florida.
Right.
I guess. And then, Clint, I was going to make a comment about who the president was holding accountable for the actions against the water utilities, but I think
Feel
we're
free.
pretty sure it's not actually the governor of Minnesota.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Correct.
Very good. Great meeting. Thanks a lot for the EV update. Of course, the award is terrific. And thanks a lot for that, water update, even the water revenue update, how that works in the half inch. That's pretty interesting. I'll watch myself too on that one. That's all I've got as well. So if that's all there is, I'd like to adjourn the meeting today at 3:25. Thank you.